North Carolina's lighthouses, beacons across the water and across time. Our founding fathers saw maritime trade as essential to the nation, and lighthouses were critical for ship safety. They are silent sentinels standing guard along our state's coast like a string of lighted pearls. And Cheryl Shelton Roberts has studied and written about all of them.
You know, it's interesting. When lighthouses were first built, it was for an important but utilitarian purpose, to aid ship navigation. That was the focus of the era. But they were well built and of such beauty in themselves that they've become a mecca for tourists today. So in this modern era, tourists visit them more each year out of curiosity and admiration than ever look for them at sea. Our state's oldest standing lighthouse is just a bit south of Lookout. Affectionately known as Old Baldy, it looks its part with mottled tones of rough plaster and cement. For 18 decades, it's guarded the entrance to the Cape Fear and marked the nearby Frying Pan Shoals. Our most famous lighthouse is not the first one to grace the island. An earlier one, completed at the urging of Thomas Jefferson, was built in 1803, but it proved too short to project much light to ships trying to avoid Diamond Shoals. Today's spiral beauty was completed in 1870. It stands 208 feet tall and originally boasted a first-order Fernell Lens. It's still the world's tallest brick lighthouse. Just to the south of Hatteras is the quiet island of Ocracoke. Along the edge of Silver Lake Harbor is one of the oldest operating lighthouses on the southeastern coast of our nation, dating back to 1823. Each North Carolina lighthouse is a link in a chain. As mariners traveled the coast, a light could be picked up on the bow as one light faded off the stern. Leaving Cape Hatteras or the safety of Ocracoke, southbound ships looked for the light at Cape Lookout, the next dangerous protrusion of sand at treacherous Lookout Shoals. Cape Lookout Lighthouse is the state's first modern tall coastal light, built in 1859. Its design was used in other tall coastal lights. Its tuxedo of black and white diamonds, called checkers by the old U.S. Lighthouse Service, makes it one of the most recognized lighthouses in the United States. To the north of Hatteras, two more tall lights complete the string of lighted pearls. Body Island Light was built in 1872 and marks the point that southbound ships must swing east to avoid Diamond Shoals off Cape Hatteras.
And to the north of Bodie Island Lighthouse is an almost twin structure, Currituck Beach Light, with the distinction of being the only lighthouse with a resident lighthouse keeper. In this modern age of automation, what does a lighthouse keeper do?
We often have romantic notions about what a lighthouse keeper's life is like. And it's dramatically different than it used to be. This day and age, it's more of a host of many visitors here at Currituck Beach. We get over 1,000 visitors a day in the summertime. But also we have all the normal things of a lighthouse. Maintaining the grounds, providing any sort of maintenance needs that the tower might require or the other structures on the compound.
Thanks to the efforts of its nonprofit steward, Outer Banks Conservationists, the light station has been returned to the condition of its glory days. Its double keeper's quarters is one of only 3 of its type, built by the U.S. Lighthouse Service, and is the only one that survives, thanks to this nonprofit's diligent preservation efforts.
Construction was started in 1875. There's about 1.2 million bricks in the structure itself. You have to remember, when this was built, it was a remote island. Everything had to be brought out on barge or ship. The Sound being very shallow, took special types of boats to bring it out. In fact, they brought a sort of like a paddle boat you'd see on the Mississippi out here, and it was specifically used to bring materials out to the site. More unusual than some of the other lighthouses that we had prior to that, which were built more locally. Most of the pieces were built in the north, and brought here and reassembled, so it was sort of a prefab lighthouse.
The lighthouse has a cleverly designed venting system that draws fresh air from the base of the lighthouse up through the hollow brick walls and out vents at the lantern room level.
And that helps act much like a car defroster on the windows. Brings nice dry air. As it comes through the bricks, it dries the air because the bricks will absorb the moisture. And that allowed the windows to stay clear during the winter time. One of the things it does have in common with all lighthouses of this era is the Fernell Lens. And the Fernell lenses were made in France. Each prism is a unique prism cut to maximize the small amount of light that the whale oil lanterns were able to provide. It took relatively little candle power to create a beam which could be seen in its day about 18 miles out to sea.
Currituck Beach Lighthouse lit the final dark spot between Cape Henry and Body Island, and every lighthouse has a unique day mark pattern and light characteristic, both unique signatures for mariners to recognize.
Our daytime signature obviously is the natural red brick, and what that allows the navigator at sea to do during the daytime is he or she can look out, see that lighthouse, then they go back to their navigational charts. What lighthouse on this coast is all red brick? And they can recognize that as Currituck Beach. Here at Currituck Beach, our signature, as noted on all navigational charts, is 17 seconds of complete darkness and 3 seconds of bright white light.
Lighthouses were the first symbols of our new nation that mariners and immigrants saw when approaching American shores. Today, a visit to any of our striking lighthouses is still a defining experience. These structures have weathered wars, countless storms, and witnessed hundreds of shipwrecks and rescue attempts. Standing here, you can feel part of that history. Looking up, you can sense its awesome presence reaching skyward. And at the top of one of these towers, the panoramic view is breathtaking.
Somehow, lighthouses appeal to the ancient mariner in all of us. As we visit them, we are once again reminded of our connection to the sea.